Okay, it's getting pretty close to Halloween, so I thought I'd do an update on all the horror movies I have. Um, it's a pretty thin line of what exactly is a horror movie and what's not. Um, of course, it's pretty well agreed on that like Halloween is a horror movie, but Jaws, I don't think it's a horror movie, so I'm not going to include it in this list. So pretty much anything I think is a horror movie that I have already is what I'm going to have named off. And then, but also sadly, keep in mind that I'm missing a lot of movies. I need to catch up on some of the ones I'm missing. So first off is 30 Days of Night. It's a pretty decent movie, a different take on vampires. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Then we have An American Werewolf in Paris. Not necessarily horror, because there's lots of comedic elements, but I just threw it in there because it is about werewolves, and there are some pretty horrifying parts here and there, so I just threw it in there. Next we have the Amityville Horror Collection. This includes 4 DVDs. The Amityville Horror, Amityville 2 The Possession, Amityville 3D, and there's no glasses included, so it's just the 2D version of the 3D movie. And then you have a nice little documentary DVD called Amityville Confidential, Amityville New York Classified. It's just a bonus DVD with looks like 3 little documentaries on the subject. So a nice little box set, well worth any collection for the Amityville horror movies. Then we have the remake of the Amityville Horror. I thought this was a good remake. There are some things I kind of wish they would have done differently. I mean, the ending was way off. They escaped in a boat instead of their vehicle. I'm not sure why that was added like that, but overall it's a really good movie. I like Ryan Reynolds. I think he's an excellent actor, so he really lit up the screen on this one. So definitely a very good movie. Then we have Anatomy and Anatomy 2. I've yet to see Anatomy 2. I've had it for quite a while, but I waited to watch it before I got Anatomy 1. Anatomy. So far, I've watched about half of this, and it's pretty good. It's so far not much has really happened, but it's still entertaining enough to watch it. So I mean, I'm sure I heard Anatomy 2 is kind of a lot like this one, so they're decent. I mean, they're all right. So far, like a 5 out of 10. Next is Arachnophobia. Again, this is a movie lots of people would consider more comedy, but I mean, it's pretty much a straightforward horror movie. There are some fun parts in it, but I mean, there's some pretty scary parts as well. So definitely, I would consider horror, and definitely a really good movie. Some classic stuff in this one, so definitely worth movie getting. Then we have Bad Taste. Another one of these movies that kind of on the thin line of what exactly is it. It's a Peter Jackson movie, kind of around the same time he did like Dead Alive. So this one again, I would consider it horror just because of some of the things that happen in it, some of the real gross parts. So definitely want to check out. It's a really good, crazy movie. Then we have Blade 2, and Blade 3. Now this is a series, lots of people actually like Blade 2 more than 1 and 3. I don't know, they're all 3 different, that's for sure. Blade 1 has that special kind of techno feel to it. Blade 2 seems more sci-fi, although I can still consider it horror. And then Blade 3 is kind of a mix between the sci-fi of 2 and the horror of 1. So, I mean, but as all 3 movies go, I really enjoy them both, and I really highly recommend all 3. Then we have The Blair Witch Project. This is one of those movies that seems to me like when it first came out, everyone was excited about it, calling it an excellent movie. Everybody says one of the scariest movies of all time. It made a lot of money, and then for some reason, it seems like during the past 5 or 6 years, people like to put it down for some reason. I don't quite understand why people make fun of it a lot. I don't know. It's kind of like Titanic or something like that. If something gets too famous, lots of people like to put it down just because it got too much attention. But on the other hand, I really enjoy this one. I like it. It's being compared with Paranormal Activity, which just released, and I actually like this one a bit more. But still, both very good movies. But this one, again, I really like. Then Bloodbath. This is one I haven't seen in a while, so I can't really say too much about it, but I do remember it being pretty good. Not much to say because I kind of forget it, but I do remember it being a well worth while watch. Here's a movie that is not on DVD yet. This is a DVD-R version of it, but it's one of my favorites. It's The Boogans. This is one of those movies that's kind of set like around a coal mine type town and setting. It's kind of like My Bloody Valentine, but with creatures. They're like these under the ground creatures, kind of killing people. So a really good, highly recommended monster horror movie. Then we have Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. It's alright. For a sequel, it's alright. I like some of the actors. I mean, I can definitely watch this and enjoy myself throughout it. It has, some really good gore effects, and there's some scenes I really like to where if you slow the movie down or pause it at the right moment, you can kind of see things like in the background, like on the lake. There's the way the shadows move across the lake is kind of, you don't see it at first, but on more viewings you kind of pause it and look and watch it in slow motion. You can really see it. Things like that, kind of hidden things in the background. I really like about this movie. This is it's a pretty decent movie. Definitely a worthwhile sequel. It's kind of hard to make a sequel to the first one, and I thought they did a good job with this. Then we have Brotherhood of the Wolf. This is a French horror movie, and it's kind of hard to classify as horror. Again, it's one of those movies that, is it action? Is it horror? What exactly is going on here? But I would definitely consider it horror because it does have a werewolf in it. So definitely a really well-made movie. Definitely one to check out. In fact, there's a 2-disc edition of it out. So definitely go look for this one. Then we have an older horror movie. I believe this is one of those considered to be, like the foundation of horror movies. It's called the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. In 1919, so it came. Did it come out before or after Nosferatu? I think it was like right around the same time. I can't remember, but it's an alright movie. It's a little slow, even though it's 82 minutes long. It's just something about it, but it's still interesting. Definitely, I mean, if you find it for cheap, pick it up and just kind of see how it is.